Okay, Sarah, we've just left St. Anne's, and it's just, what, 50 feet
Yeah,
down
not too
to
far.
our east,
Yeah.
and that means we're on the Via della Rosa, going from here to the west, right up to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre ultimately, and down this way, just a couple hundred feet, is Lionsgate. Lionsgate is called that because you'll see a couple lions on the outside when you get
okay.
close. I'll show them to you.
Nice.
But that became known as Stephen's Gate and still called Stephen's Gate commonly today.
Okay, why the name change?
Well, Stephen's Gate at one time was in the north.
Okay,
Damascus Gate we called Stephen's Gate.
I see.
And I mentioned this to you once before that because the hill that Jerusalem's built on rises as it goes north, that's the part of the city that's most vulnerable. That's where the Romans attacked and came in and so forth. And so the Muslims who took over the city said we can't have Christians in that part of the town.
I see.
And so naturally that north part of Jerusalem tends to be the Muslim part of town. The Muslim quarters in the north part. So that's what happened. And the tour guides knew all these pilgrims coming here wanted to see St. Stephen's Gate.
Oh, I see.
And so they just told them that Lion's Gate is where St. Stephen was stoned to death. Wasn't true, but just tells you be cautious when you're talking to a tour guide.
Okay.
May or may not be true what they say. So, okay. In my opinion, that gate we call Lion's Gate, Stephen's Gate, ought to be called Sheep Gate. Think about it, because in the gospel we read that Jesus entered through the sheep gate, which was by the pool of Bethesda, which we just visited,
You're right.
and we know it's never been fully excavated, but we know there's another gate under that gate.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And so, you know, the fact we haven't done all the excavation always bothers me. I wish we did more, and I understand they live here. We can't just tear up the street. All these people couldn't get in and out of their homes. So I understand that. But I am convinced Sheepgate is that gate. That's where it was in the first century, which means when Jesus entered, triumphal entry. And what day is this? The 10th of Aviv. How do I know?
Yeah.
Because the Lamb was chosen. This is God's commandment. The Lamb was chosen on the 10th of Aviv for Passover.
I see.
The 14th of Aviv was Passover. What day did Jesus die? The 14th of Aviv. Is there symbolism there?
Yeah, for sure.
God wanted us to understand that Jesus is the Lamb of God. In fact, when we get to the book of Revelations, King of Kings and Lord of Lords, twice. The Lamb of God, over and over and over and over and over. I think it's 30 sometimes.
Oh, wow.
And so he wants us to understand. And the 10th of Aviv, all the people are shouting, "Save Lord." You know, they think this is going to be the Messiah. This is the Son of David. This is. And we read what? What is Jesus doing as he rides down the Mount of Olives and enters at that spot, I'm convinced, and rode right here by us. Because the Temple Mount is just right here. He couldn't have gone through the Temple Mount. He rode right at the end, the north end of the Temple Mount, came right this way. And they're all shouting and cheering and celebrating, laying down their robes, cutting palm branches and laying them down as he came down on a little foal of a donkey. What is Jesus doing? He's weeping. Have you ever noticed that?
No, I have not.
I think it's something that we could easily miss, but that's what we read. He is weeping. They are cheering. He is weeping. He recognizes what's happening. He's now offering himself. The people had to choose their lamb for Passover on the 10th of Aviv. He is now offering himself as the Lamb of God on the 10th of Aviv. I think it's a powerful
Yeah,
image.
for sure.